drinking and smoking heavily, you know, stay a little cloudy. But those are the type of things. If you do it right, you can be alright. But it's still, you know, get you a little blurry. So I began to see a different reality from when I was in that mode versus I am now. I can definitely see a different reality. So I think environment plays a part in how you perceive and how you view things very heavily in your mental state of mind as you grow and mature. I really do. I honestly gotta say this. So that does coincide with that thesis or that particular way of understanding from a culture
Yes, yes, yes.
stemming. You know what I'm saying? Stemming way back. For real, for real. A lot of people will never admit shit like that. But I don't, I don't see nothing wrong with that thing. I call that experience. And then having the ability to be grounded and actually see error of ways. You see what I'm saying? Like I can see why I was effing up at. You know what I'm saying? And then able to actually put a cause behind it, not making an excuse, but an actual ability to stop doing something that was causing you to maneuver one way. You see what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
recognizing that and then changing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we young bro. When I was a youngster, you feel me? I was out. I was outside. I ain't know what the know what they say, bro. I was out the door for real. So it just being a father and a husband and shit now, and me looking me looking back at when I was out the door, I'm like, I don't want to be nowhere but in the house. I weighed the options. You feel me? And made the decision back then. You feel me? Like I could see it, but the structure of what I was electing at that time gave that benefit. You feel me? Like that's the notoriety. That's when you're aware and paying attention. There was times we all wouldn't or didn't, but like, but also think about when people actually succumb to that ability to not control the matrix. I say it like you, I say. Go ahead, man. you know,
There you go.
when a
You know.
person can't control it.
So speaking of control, urges, things of that nature, I was bringing up. I encourage everybody. I'm back on my metaphysical shit, and I encourage everybody to go look at Midnight Mass over on Netflix. Midnight Mass. Why I say that? Because they're dealing with the New Testament, right? And I'm looking at all of the components that they're utilizing from the New Testament is the justification for vampirism or hemophilia, if you would. Uh, this is what we observe. So they utilize the scriptures like eat my flesh, drink my blood. You will live forever if you do these things. The sun coming back to give judgment, if you would. Think about that,
Wow.
but in the of context of the way that it's even being laid out. Then he speak about the disease that they got back in the day that they misnomer as leprosy, the tesseract disease that would make the skin white. Think about all of these things, man. It sounded to me like they was describing some type of vampiric motherfuckers, man.
Mm, the real Count Dracula.
I'm dead ass serious because even the idea of vampires,
Come from
they
right.
they are the children of the Nephilim.
Mm, The blood
So
drinkers. That's
it just
a
it
home run.
the connection is so it's insane, man.
That's a home run.
Peace and love, family. Well, technically, the elemental of the vampire comes from the sign of
White folks.
no, incorrect. It comes from the sign of the Taurus.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
white folk.
Fairies come from the sign of the Virgo. Mermaids come from the sign of the Cancer. Trickster spirits come from the sign of Aries. And vampires come from the sign of Taurus. So those are all of the elementals and what the movies are talking about.
Uh-oh. And there goes Frazier in the sense of here's another aspect to mm. So how did you come up with that equation?
I mean, in spirituality, you just learn about where elemental guides come from and the signs that they belong to. And it doesn't mean that, like, just because you're a Taurus, a vampire in your chart is a bad thing. It on the lighter side of things, the vampire could mean that every resource that you have, like if you are a positive person and you do the best in life, a vampire would mean that you could be a really good manifester. But if you were on the darker side of the spectrum where you live your life, you know, not really being that great of a person, then you would just be a user of any and all resources and suck the life out of everybody that you're around. Like you're just a user.
Mm.
Um, but that falls under Taurus. But a lot of people in their birth chart, because in your birth chart you have so many signs. You have almost all the signs in your birth chart. All of us do. So we all have the opportunity to be the good and the bad of the vampire, the fairy. Just like fairy sounds sweet for Virgo, but fairies can also be trickster spirits in the sense that when they're protecting you and other people are trying to betray you, those will be the people, the spirits in your spiritual council that will trick other people so that they don't hurt you. So they'll give people the illusion of you. That's one thing to keep you safe. Or they can be a very sweet guide that helps people that are meant to be in your energy stay in your energy. As far as mermaids, same thing. They have a light and a dark to them. Aries has the trickster spirit. This trickster can do the same thing fairies can do. They can trick people out of not hurting you, or they can use you like in a good way. They can trick people into things going into your favor when you do right. Everything has a
Mm.
light and a dark.
Mm. Okay. Well, I just want to ask what pantheon is that coming out of? In what culture gives this type of uh, uh knowledge and information pertaining to their belief, faith, in spiritual systems? I want to add in there and allow that to be uh probably the forefront of what you're talking about. I'm sure. But what group of people could we reference to see what you're talking about?
What do you mean? because it goes for all humans. Those are some of your guides. You have ancestor guides, you have angelic guides, and you have what we call elemental nature spirit guides.
Right,
And
that's what
those,
I'm saying. Like so, like when you say we, that's what we call what
I'm in front of me. You
group of
jumping
people.
this. I couldn't figure. Oh,
What you
sorry,
say, bro?
Khalid? Oh, he wasn't talking to us.
Oh,
Repeat what you said, Khalid.
no, I was saying, what group of people? Like when you say we, I'm trying to figure out what people that identify with this information as a culture, or is this not that?
This would be esoteric knowledge that leaders and governments use to their advantage that the public doesn't really know that much about, because we're in the years of Aquarius in the Bible, um which you could best reference to the two women at the mill. That's the start of Aquarius season, which lasts 30 years. That's when all spiritual knowledge, esoteric knowledge that the public was never meant to know starts to become available for everybody. So it's not just the elite that has it. Because if you don't know about energy vampires, then you can't protect yourself from them. If you don't know about fairy spirits or trickster spirits, and each spiritual practice has different types of trickster spirits, fairy spirits, leprechaun spirits. All these things are not just on everything for no reason. They're a very real thing.
I guess I understand. I guess more so what I'm asking is like, who were the first group of people that we know of that we can show some proof on, or at least just give a little backdrop on that was actually practicing these type of techniques to identify the things within the cosmos and the nature and everything that we've been talking about, and how
Hmm.
you just put them within the confines of a person that would know these things. Which I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm trying to get an understanding of who would be these we or the people in which that practice these type of practices.
So when I started really looking into elementals, when I found out about them, I started finding them in all spirituality, from African spirituality to Celtic spirituality to that's why you'll find this stuff in all the movies that we've ever seen from way back in the day. And a lot of those movies have a lot of spiritual meaning to them that us public, because we've never really known this stuff, we just look at it and we're like, oh man, another vampire movie. Or oh man, these things are all over everything. There's movie after movie. There's literally they're on cereal boxes. They're on everything, and we just think of it as nothing. The mermaid really came from dolphins, which people have tried the best for us to stay away from, because they do have sonar technology that actually helps women during childbirth. Like they're basically they like if a woman gets in the water that's pregnant with a dolphin, they have sonar technology that the baby actually likes, and they actually help pregnant women. They're very affectionate with pregnant women. In African spirituality, it was pretty commonly known. And those are the actual real mermaids that people think of. When they gave the name mermaid, it really came from a dolphin. Um, but now we're trying to be kept away from dolphins. People in charge are trying to keep us away from dolphins because they do have the ability to heal
Mm.
humans. The frequency that they let off actually aligns people and helps people, but all of this knowledge is stuff that the elite had access to. And so it was something they got to take advantage of, and they got to make us just look at it all over everything. You know how we hear like truth isn't everything, but we don't, the people at the bottom really never know any of it. That, because it's right in our face all the time, and it has been for so, since as long as I've been born, I've seen all this stuff everywhere, but didn't know that it was actually a spiritual meaning behind it. I just thought it was folklore and that kind of deal. Dragons, I didn't I was just thought, wow, that would be amazing. The closest thing we've ever thought of is dinosaurs, but that's never been in any time that we existed. But we know that there's dragons for Satan and there's dragons for the Most High. Um, but we think of mermaids as like a siren that'll like drag you under. Um, but there's also a positive of the mermaid. There's, like I said, there's a light and a dark of all nature spirits, and they are protectors, just as and defenders. So if you like, say, for me as a Virgo, I have the protection of fairies, which is so weird because I've had fairy everything since I was a little kid. And didn't know that that was the protector of the Virgo. Um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
sorry, I got a message.
no,
Um,
you
but
good.
but yeah, I
Uh,
just think it's really interesting. So what do you think about that?
yeah, I definitely think that's pretty interesting. Uh, I've heard about these types of things before when it comes down to these different uh, spiritual aspects of fairies and things of that nature. Uh, yeah, what I say I believe it? I would say I don't know. I'm gonna keep it a B. Like fairies, not so much. The
Mhm.
spiritual aspect of what these things could represent in the not being able to see but are there sense. Kind of like on the fence of what Arshay was talking about, this matrix formation type of gratifying its own self type of feel. If I had to, I would go towards that. I think it still would be this cause and effect within a system that we have no control over. But if we understand, we could control it in the sense of how we maneuver. But then, you know, that maybe is when you get unplugged. So, you know, when it comes down to all of the, I don't want to phrase it like this, but I will, the spookism of that, I think it's more about being aware of the systems because outside of that, I mean, it ain't really no ghost out here doing no harm that you can see. Now, when we get into what we talk about the spirit of a atom, right? I
Mhm.
think that is what is the driving force of the flesh of a person. So, if evil is within that atom, then that atom shall spill blood, shall rob, shall commit idolatry, shall fornicate, shall do all of these things that Adam chooses to be because he is in the spirit of do thy will. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
a lot of people get affected by the the view vantage point of these type people because they have a lot of people straddling the fence about morality
Mhm.
in the sense that why can't I be what I want to be, how I want to be it when I'm forced here? Like, and that's I think one of the preconceived notions about why I would And I'm saying that for myself. I preconceived that notion before the Matrix, but I didn't understand it. Like when he said what he said about it, like, don't get me wrong, I still stand where I stand in truth, but I still do see how this could actually be a real formula to what we under right now. Even when we look at how the Torah is put together, it's almost like it's telling you you're being tested until you're unplugged.
Seriously, William, I really think that we're being tested
You're
until the
being
day that
tested
we're
until you
unplugged.
unplug.
Yeah.
Yeah, real
I
talk.
for real think that. I think that the most high loves us so much that he wants us to. A lot of people get offended by this. Like, I had a conversation, I can't remember where that was last night, if it was on Fire's panel or if it was on TikTok or if it was on here, but somebody was talking about what was the point of the devil, like God is terrible because he made the devil and then he sent the devil down here to test us. Well, here's my whole thing. To me, our Father is molding us. He is teaching us, molding us. We do something to somebody and then suddenly we're going through an experience similar so that we can understand our brothers and our sisters that we may have put that through. It makes us think twice. It makes us think, well, wow, this doesn't feel so good. I never want to do that to anybody again because I never want to feel this myself. Like, I don't want to go through it. So, why would I want to put somebody else through it? And so, when I think of the narrow path, I think we should all want to walk that narrow path because we're being molded and guided by our Father.
I mean, anybody else want to say something before I do? I want to hear what you think when I said, man, we being tested until we get unplugged. Skip Yana, I want to hear what you got to say when I say the Torah said we being tested until we get unplugged. I want to hear before I go on because I
Mm, um, Let me. You mean like the Torah is saying we're getting tested until we get unplugged from the world, right? Like in that type of standpoint, or
yeah, like from the Torah standpoint, like when we're unplugged from this matrix, we
right?
go back into the kingdom of truth. In truth, I would even say with a, a metaphysical and a metaphysical body, in the sense that you're programmed with truth because of how you fought for truth in the matrix. So that, like, if I had to classify it and
Well,
use
what
the
you just say? What
matrix,
you just say, though, buddy? My bad.
say you, so what part? Because I did say a lot,
You asked him. You said, I want to know what I say got to say about what?
but I say I said the Torah is like the matrix in the sense of Yahuwah is testing you till you're unplugged.
Well, that's the funny thing about Gnosticism. It's based off of what you would consider maybe the quote unquote Torah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's based off of. So you're gonna find the Yahuwah figure, but he's not going to be who you know him to be. We're utilizing Gnosticism. We're utilizing our actual knowledge, our gnosis of actually what's going on, and we identify it for what's happening.
But I want to say this to that. I think through dealing with the text and actually getting to it, I think I've already like hit that pinnacle within myself and understanding that Yahuwah is not who I thought he was. You see what I'm saying? Yahuwah is not what I thought he was.
In the sense of what?
In the sense of it's just like how they turned the netters into gods.
Nah, the Yahuwah's the evil
He's
motherfucker in the He's a bad motherfucker in Gnosticism.
no.
Shit.
Now, listen, bro. I'm we ain't gonna trip because we know this is a show. We here, but like for real though, that's how. If I had to put it in that perspective, in that type of uh light, I would say it like that. I wouldn't say it no different. Hold on. Damn. I wouldn't say it no different. I gotta change this thing though. Hold on. All right, I know that sound better. Check my sound real quick, y'all. But yeah, man, I can't I ain't gonna cap to you, bro. Like that's I mean, it would be the same thing, bro. It would be the same exact thing, bro. Real talk. And we know Yahuwah was before the Matrix. So he gotta be an author of the Matrix. The creator of the Matrix. If it ever was one, right? If it ever was one, he would have to be the creator of it. You know what I'm saying? I know you
No, he can't be. Hold on, wait. Hey, fire. I'm about to leave, and I'm gonna come back up because my sound messed up.
yeah.
So I'm gonna come back up.
So, okay, so Colleen, what do you think about this? And it was just a thought, so I'm just wondering what you're thinking. I was thinking that possibly Yahuwah gave us everything we needed to have the lessons we needed to be able to become the highest version of ourselves through different tests, right?
Mhm.
The trials of being a spirit inside of a body, on this planet. But then I was thinking, I feel as if the elites
All right, let's get back to it. So
have
you were saying what now? Oh, it can't be Yahuwah can't be created the Matrix because the Matrix is literally just I believe it's Greek. It might be Greek or Latin, but one of those two. But it's another. It's a term for that means womb.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we dealing with the womb, now we actually dealing with actually being in the belly of the beast. This is dealing with Sophia. For it was Sophia who created this, who created Yah the Baal.
Okay, I
So
know that part. Right.
Sophia creates Yah the Baal out of ignorance. She creates out of Yah the Baal out of the yearning to know to have a gnosis. This is hence to Gnosticism, meaning gnosis. You know what I mean? So she wants to know the unknown, but she doesn't want to wait her entire process. So she skips. She doesn't go through syzygy and emanation. She goes to an emethesis or a thought. So she creates through thought, not through the divine process. The result of that was Yaldabaoth, because he was born parthenogenically with only one side, and that being his mother's side. He lacked that masculine component that it actually takes to actually want to defend the divine feminine. You have a natural masculine force inside of you that tells you when you see a woman getting wrong that you want to fix that. That you're going to naturally protect your mother. You're going to naturally protect your woman. You're going to naturally protect your daughters. This is a natural male instinct that we have, but because he was created without that, he lacked that. Actually, he had what we would consider to be a identity crisis, where he wanted to act as if he created himself. So the first thing that he did when he came on to the realm was he created subordinates, things that will work for him, that will fall under him. This is the creation of the cult of the boss. It's the belief that there is no God before me. There's no God but me.
Right.
This is the idea of I'm a jealous God. So it letting you, we have the Baal coming into the realm already understand that there's other deities. Already let you know that there's other gods, some even older than. But I don't keep saying I don't mess with them. I don't mess with them. And if you mess with me like you say you do, then you don't mess with them either. But this is the ideology of the boy, because Yaldabaoth is not a man. He's the boy still. Why is he the boy still? Because he's lacking in that true masculine component that it takes to actually maintain development and balance in my art within this realm. So we're going to find out when we see through the scriptures is that Sophia is trying to fix the mistake. The first thing that she did was when Yaldabaoth created this unbalanced realm, because the world that we live on is literally unbalanced. Like the world is literally tilted. Planet Earth is tilted. And us being people that came with the planet, we walk with a slight tilt as well. This is the unbalancement of the planet. So the first thing that she did was threw a veil over this thing. So when you look up in the sky, that ain't the true sky. And I'm not just speaking like out of my ass. This is a real thing. It's a certain type of veil over it, for you don't see the entirety of it. They said in the ancient times that if you was to actually see what was under the veil, you would lose your motherfucking mind. That you would go crazy. They hint towards it in the Bible even. That in the last days, the sky will peel back. So they're telling you that that this thing has a veil on it. It's a covering over this thing, and it will be peeled back. And in those days, that's what I think that movies like Bird Box was about, speaking about the actual peeling back over that veil, and then it being so beautiful, it being so ominous, it being just so overstimulating that it drove people to even unalive self. So the first thing she did was she threw a veil over this thing. Second thing she did was she noticed that there was a creation down here, Adamah. And Adamah was unbalanced because he was originally created by Yaldabaoth. So what she did was she gave balance to Adam. This is where we get the idea of Adam Cadman. Everybody at home should look up these terms I'm utilizing. Syzygy, emethesis, Bythos, Sophia, Yaldabaoth. Google all of these things. Don't believe me, look them up. And so what you're going to see is that Adam Cadman was when she stepped in and she gave Adam something that Adam was not originally created with. And that angered Yaldabaoth. That angered the God that created Adam, because he began to be jealous of Adam according to the Gnosticism. So he ripped Adam, took Adam apart, and took that component that was inside of Adam that he didn't give him, and he put it outside of Adam. And then from that point on, demonized that aspect of Adam that was put into Adam that he did, and that was the divine feminine. This is the creation of what we like to call her, Smurfette, who we now calling Eve. And so we're going to see an instant demonization of the divine feminine from there on.
Man, this deserves a hand clap. No, because we had Osset, who was watered down by the Greeks to be Isis,
Yes.
and then was watered down to be Eve by the Catholics.
Yes. And this is all also pulling from more ancient deities as well, going back to our Inanas, our Nintis, because we're looking at the story of Eve. We're looking at the story of Ninti and her in its relation to no. Hold on one second.
Welcome, Chosen.
Hopefully we can get him back. I did want to discuss what he was just saying about y'all the day off and how I don't think he was saying that it had anything to do with y'all. But if he was, it's not a chance. That's that's primo Donna late age information, second, 4th century CE. So I mean, yeah, y'all was already being talked about in the Torah and Tanakh, on the writings in Egypt and Kemet and other places all over the East. You know, so I doubt that, but hopefully we can get the brother back up here. We can build on that. But until then, shalom, chosen. What's happening with you? Till then.
Peace. What up, bro?
Just cooling, man. Trying to get into it, man. But say y'all the bay off is Yahuwah.
I've never heard that before.
Y'all the bay off, but y'all the bay off, and supposedly he a Yahoo, which is supposedly Yahoo. That's gonna be the son of Yah the Bayoff. Yah the Bayoff is the father in Gnostic text.
Mm.
Right.
The first say he the father, but he is the highest of the pantheon.
Yep.
I don't know if my mic was muted when I said it, but did you hear me correct what I said about Osset, Isis, and Virgin Mary? It wasn't Eve, it was Virgin Mary. That was from it went from Isis to Virgin Mary, not Eve.
Okay.
Bree said, how is Yadabath Yahuwah if Yadabath was only a creator of material world and not anything else?
What?
Bree, her comment in the comments, it says, how is Yadabuth Yahuwah if Yadabuth is only a creator of the material world and not anything else?
That is true.
Did you get what I'm saying? If we come from
Yeah.
that standpoint of
Yeah, but
calling,
in the Gnostic text, Yah the Bayoff is above Yah-O.
Mm.
I can pull it up. Give me 1 sec. You probably need to know.
What you say, bro?
Yeah, my bad. I was trying to. My bad. I had to go grab another bag.
Right.
But yeah, man, this thing is way more deeper. So I want to continue going over the many attempts that the mother tried to lay down. So she gave to Adam something that Adam didn't have, and of course that was the divine feminine. Here we have the creation of Eve. Hence why when we're looking at the woman, the anatomy, she has a womb in between her legs that literally will not close. And if she does not keep up with this womb, this wound, not womb, is a womb as well, but it's a wound with a D. If she does not keep up with this wound will begin to rot just like any other wound as well. This is the everlasting imprint of the divine separation between the original divine feminine masculine that was Adam Cadman. From there, we see a literal split and divide. We see that the divine feminine is viewed as a nothing more than a helpmate to who she was supposed to be and originally supposed to be equal to. It's a part of this story that I'm leaving out. And the part that I'm leaving out was that before they even did the separation, that there was another aspect that the mother sent as well. Before she gave to Adam the part that he was missing, she tried to give to Adam what Adam needed, and that was a divine feminine figure that was untainted. This was Lilith in the garden. But the plan that Yaldabaoth and Adam with the Yaldabaoth driven mind had for Lilith, she disagreed with. They wanted, let me tell you something. They wanted Lilith to be submissive to the unbalanced realm that they already had going. She's like, why would I listen to you guys? Y'all don't even have a balanced realm. So they give you the thought that Adam wanted to mount, Lilith wanted to mount Adam. Adam didn't want to be mounted, felt like it would demasculinize him. But there was even a scientific method even behind that, for when a woman is straddling on top of the man, only the strongest of your seed as a man will be able to climb that tree of life and get to the womb. Adam and Yadabaoth didn't understand that simple science that the mother being wisdom, as in Sophia, had already relayed on down to Lilith. So because Lilith understood and they didn't understood, she unblessed them with her presence, meaning she departed. She flew away from them and went on to the mountain. This is then where we see, this is when the mother stepped in and gave him the aspect. Then after that, we get the creation of Eve. The thing about Eve or Hawa was that Eve was under the control of the matrix that be. He was under Yadabaoth. She was submissive unto him. She was submissive unto Adam. Now this was the last attempt that the mother did, and this is when she's sending all these things. I want you to notice that she's sending all this shit. She's trying because she got to be able to return back to where she came from with a clean motherfucking record. So she's sending all of these things out, and she sends the serpent, the Nakash, the whisperer, with a message. And the message was trying to get them to wake up and understand that they was in a twisted reality. The message was relayed. They acted upon the message, but then they were instantly ousted by Yadabaoth, faced to go off through the tropes of this unbalanced realm that he's created. See how I'm noticing? You know, all these things didn't work. Mankind still failed. Mankind still failed due to Yadabaoth system. Yadabaoth, he's confused. He's resetting. He's doing all these delusions because he's trying to get it right, but he can't never get it right. Every time he resets in the same manner. So they give us this story, and this was the last attempt that we get from her. When they give you this thought of a Jesus, when they give you this thought of an Ainana, when they give you this thought of a Tammuz, it's the thought that the divine sacrifice has been made. You can't just send motherfuckers to do your dirty work. They cannot redeem you. You gotta come down here and you gotta go through what you created. You gotta sleep in this bed. See, this is not just a metaphysical understanding. This should also be applicable. You should be able to look at this story and then look back at life and understand that this has a life lesson all attached to it.
Yeah, this when you put the Torah right next to that, that's what it's saying, bro. Take away the New Testament, take away the Jesus shit, and you look at the Torah, it's telling you got to come down here and get it out the mud, out the sweat of your brow, and stand 10 toes on your square against your brother. You can't be against him in the sense of bringing harm. You got to figure out how to maneuver around in all of this slop to get back where you come from. This is what it's saying. Like, I mean, it's hard for me to disagree with it when you put it like that. I think the only thing, and I ask you this too, I think this is why you say you don't really deal with the creator, because you don't know who it is under that concept. But I wouldn't strictly say the Yadabaoth thing. I'm talking about more of the matrix in itself. This is probably why you say that, right?
I mean, that's a big part of it, but it's just the reality that the true creator, how could I know, man? Why would I know? You know what I mean? Like, why would I know? Why would I know? Why would you know? Who the fuck am I?
You know how easy it is to answer that question?
Uh-oh.
You would know because you come from it.
I would love to accept that answer because it sounds so simple. But if that was the true case, then there wouldn't be all of these doctrines running around with different origin stories.
No, I think what I'm saying is just how in the pursuit of this information, but also being charismatic with it to the sense of you don't even really care to know, but you respect it, would validate what you're saying in sense of like the Torah when you seek his face, right? This is hidden the truth. It is revealed. It's righteous.
The creator of this realm, I know, is Yadabaoth. I don't gotta wonder about this realm that I'm in. But when we're talking about When
Man,
you
y'all the
said
y'all
when
pretty young, boy.
say it one more time.
Y'all the y'all pretty young, right? Second, fourth, century.
Far as
Somebody said echo.
terminology, yes, terminology utilizing the word y'all the Bayoff. But we're okay. And if I have to stay away from the y'all the Bayoff terminology to actually convey this message, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with just simply identifying the demiurge because this is what we're truly dealing with. The idea of the demiurge. And this goes all the way back to the Dogen tradition.
I give you that. So let's talk about original format when we first see this at and how we can get at that because I think that's more important to the statement that I made that kind of prompted us to go the way that we going right now as far as when I say Yahuwah is.
Somebody got an echo.
I think I should just got a mute. Yeah, that worked. As far as how, I made that statement, I stand firmly on that, of course. So what I'm saying is, where would we get this prior to the second, fourth century CE, and it's coming out in this type of way? Where we see this first? I know you named some of the stages and people that brought forth these philosophical renditions of the same story throughout different pantheons, but in the same region. But let's get into where it actually stemming from. Let's get into the root of it. You know what I'm saying? The root.
The root of it is see, it's a but this is when you're dealing with metaphysics the way that we're dealing with it, right? On a true depth level.
Mm-hmm.
The actual root of these things is never going to actually, you're not going to find it because it's an energy that always existed, if you will.
Right.
When we're applying hermetic principle as above, so below, as within, so without, it's not, you don't have to just look at this story at the story level that is given to you. Hold on, this side.
Mm-hmm. And see, like, I get it. I totally get where Ashay coming from with it, but what I'm saying is when it comes down to the metaphysical side and the energy is never destroyed, only lost, I think I can disagree with that according to the Torah. Like, I can show where the energy was destroyed according to the will of the Father, according to one's deeds and ability to move a certain type of way in Ruach or in that same energy as he would utilize or say. To say and show that that's where excuse me, energy can and will be destroyed to show the hand of the facilitator of the energy. Also, if my memory serves me correct, the brother stands on, or his viewpoint at least. I don't want to say too much when he ain't here, but I know we've had this conversation, so I can say this with truth and not be making that up. The fact that how when you come back, and I say regeneration, he may say reincarnation. If you come back as a cow, you was never able to restore my eye, and that technically would be your ruach wasted, destroyed. The cow chews grass. Beneficial. It's not utterly wasted, but it's wasted. Utterly wasted, you come back as a blade of grass and get cut by the lawnmower. Walked on, stuff like that. Go back and keep coming back as a blade of grass. I think that's like the lowest level you can go, or either like a grain of dirt or two. That's pretty low.
But I've never heard of reincarnation working like that, though.
I mean, I'm just speaking from what I understand reincarnation to be is you come back as a different aspect of the world, just not in human form. Now, regeneration, That's different.
From my understanding of reincarnation, unless you're passed on, which when you're passed on, you can come back in form of help for one of your ancestors that has reincarnated, but actual reincarnation of the living is you would come back as another human. And you can come back as a different race. You can come back as a different sex. I've met many people who, with their past life regressions, have known that they were Asian, and they were not, they don't understand that because they're either white or they're copper colored, or but that the whole purpose of the Most High doing that for us is so that we understand all aspects of life, so that we don't judge, so that we don't judge as a woman and don't judge as a man, or don't judge as a person of color, or don't judge as a white person, because in your past life you very well may have been that person that now you dislike. And so it doesn't really make much sense. The whole purpose is for us to have unity in one. And that's the whole purpose of rebirth. Well, not rebirth, because rebirth is what we do in life. Reincarnation is for the growth of our soul expansion, for our wisdom.
Right. I get you. So you come back in another body.
I could understand that aspect. It's just I haven't seen it play out. I haven't seen anybody be reincarnated in this life. So maybe I'm understanding it wrong.
No, I think you understand it right.
No, like, and that's not to shoot down anything. I'm just trying to uh think of it in like a different perspective, or try to, you get what I'm saying, understand what
Yeah.
people points are, because I don't know. I ain't
No
like,
doubt. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I think I ain't gonna lie. I looked at it, and that's what it says. The definition is when your, you know, soul leaves your body, it doesn't go anywhere but into another body. So,
oh,
reincarnation would be uh like an eternity life in that sense, where you just keep coming back, coming back, coming back. You know.
Like, for instance, say you were a woman that was a man hater,
mhm.
or you were a man that was a woman hater. You would come back as
What you
that
hate?
opposite,
Damn.
so that you could learn the struggle that that opposite went through. If you were a white man and you were a racist, you would come back as the person you were racist against. That way you had a different perspective for your soul growth.
So that must used to be rich then. I must used to be rich then, y'all.
Hmm.
Hit the cash up down there in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to the Ring of Fire. Go ahead.
Hmm.
What was you about to say, Skip?
I don't even know, because I was about to go back to Ashay's point when he was saying about how would I don't deal with the creator or conversations about it, because how would I know? Why would I want to know? And
Mm,
we said, well, you would know because you from him. It's
right,
no choice but to know. And then he said, but if that was the case, then there wouldn't be so many doctrines behind it. And I say that's not true, because people have dove into objective truth and subjective truth.
right.
And
Fact.
that's that's a thing where that's gonna keep you inside the matrix. And I don't think that a lot of people really think about it like that. You know, one conversation I had with my dude this morning, because he had asked me this question. He was like, "Babe, who said if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book?" I said Malcolm X did. He was like, "Yeah." And you know what? That make perfect sense, because a lot of people don't want to pick up books and learn anything anymore. Um, they've branched out now into noticing that people are reading so many things, so they put so much shit in front of you to overstimulate your mind and make you pick up on all these different things so that you don't know the truth. So you sat down wondering, well, what is it that I'm reading that's correct? And you really just gotta do the work, research on timelines, everything. And when you do that, then I mean, you should figure it out. If we reading all of this Gnosticism stuff and everything, you would know based off a timeline what came before that and what they was rewriting from what. You get what I'm saying? And if you can't notice that, then hey, I guess you just not trying to understand it. Grasping all of these things, it's good to learn things on this earth. That's not a problem. But when you dive too deep into it and it's not based on the truth that you're trying to find, you're gonna drown yourself in information that is just unnecessary. It's just not going to get you closer to the truth.
Them
Um,
facts. Them
you get what
facts.
I'm saying? It's just gonna keep pulling you back from finding what you want to find, because you literally look into all these millions of books and you're like, oh, which one do I start with? Which one do I end with? Like, it's you literally overstimulated yourself.
Them
And
facts.
I
And
don't understand why people don't get it though. And I don't understand why they see reading the Bible as a terrible thing. Oh, it's the end of the world when somebody reads the word. It's like you
I
read it
think
for
because, like, not to cut you off, but like how he
no,
broke it down about agnosticism and how they copied these two stories and came up with JC as a savior and these different things that are really actually outside of the Torah. Uh, and it's a new thing and it's not original, but it is original from a different pantheon. So when we do these overlays and crossovers into something that was an overlay and a crossover, it's just double confusion. It's double marinara and just too much mayonnaise. So, you know, it gets real thick and you really got to be able to sort these things out through scholarship and studying and looking up to affirmate and acclimate the information in which is provided for us to devour and understand. Like that's the critical part of it because when you get the colloquializing and grouping a lot of different writings and texts, because when it comes down to text versus writings, the texts are going to be backdated and they're going to supersede a lot of times the writings. And that's what I was pointing out about uh the story what you was speaking on. It was put out in between the 2nd and 4th century CE. That's way after the Torah. But that's why, he did say that he regretted kind of using the terminology that he used. And it's all good because I understood where he was coming from. So it was no big deal on that. But he had to go, but I really wanted to get to the bottom of where it's stemming from. And he spoke on that as far as how it really don't have a start. But here's where we see a differentiation in information about a start. But the start is not the type of start that most readers can understand, because it's talking about, I'll say cosmic order, but I don't literally mean in the literal sense. I mean the wheel within the wheel of how Yahuwah's presence came upon the face of the earth in a time where man had already caused the presence to leave, and he rose up a election of people to bring forth uprightness through chaos. So it looks crazy, it looks ugly, it looks chaotic, but it's an election. And we see throughout the generations in the stories, they get closer and closer to the mark. This is where I really identify real time with actual historicity and not writings, but scriptures. So I think that's where a lot of the things that we get into with some people around that type of information, it starts to kind of shave off to the left into more of a positional stance based on how you feel about or and having a pre-notion about the biblical so-called biblical narrative and the so-called Abrahamic faith, things of that nature. These are characteristics of somebody that rejects those things, which I reject, being someone that would not like to be called a person that's in the Abrahamic faith. I'm not that. Do I follow the Torah? Absolutely. It's not because of Abraham in the sense that one would say, oh, it's Abrahamic faith. All these things were chosen from one source, one power. So that's the differentiation on how we got to look at things. And what I notice with people that don't understand how the Torah speaks to the people, um, these things are definitely not the same in practice. So that they're unpractical when it comes down to who's saying what and how it's said, and then who does it because of who it was said to.
Right, I definitely see what you're saying. 'Cause, especially when you said the whole Abrahamic Abrahamic faith. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people tend to say, "Oh, it's this person that wrote it, so it's their faith," and it's like, no, it's just like anybody that sat up there and reported something. They were the ones that was called to do it. They reported it, and you move on from it. Why does it have to be his faith because he was the one that wrote down what the father told him to write down?
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean that. And I think that that's another thing that people will try to use so that they don't read um
I agree.
that specific thing. And it's just like it's just weird. How could you do that with this one thing, but you don't do it with everything else? Like, for example,
I agree.
in, yeah, in grammar school, right? When I was in grammar school, we learned that what Columbus founded America, right? It took
Hmm.
for us to reach high school to find out that the nigga didn't go nowhere but Asia. He didn't even know where the America was. And
Right.
with that case, so what? I'm supposed to sit up here and um keep believing that he founded America because that's what was stated right then and there. Like, no, if it's stated wrong and that he really found Asia, then that's what it is. But a lot of people don't want to turn from different narratives that they have of certain things, and they don't want to hear the truth about it
Right.
because they stuck with subjective truth. But
Fact.
that's okay. We all learning. Everybody learning. I'm still learning. So this is not to judge anybody when I'm saying what I'm saying. It just makes me scratch my head because I'm so confused on why this is the one thing that's being honed down on and everybody
Right.
want to debunk it so bad. It's like, no, it's why would you want to debunk a blueprint for your life? Y'all would have been mad if y'all said that the father didn't give y'all no instruction and he left y'all high and dry, right? So he gives you instruction and you complain about it. and try to spin it and try to make it negative and try to make it bad, and that he's just this terrible God that doesn't care about anybody but himself. And it's just confusing. And I don't know. Guess that's where a lot of people are, and if they want to be there, I ain't judging. Logically, it just don't make no sense to me.
Well, we did learn that, um, Yeshua did study with Buddhists and different cultures to learn from them to become a more whole version of himself. And with me, who practices mysticism, which consists of a mixture of Judaism, Buddhism, um, Hinduism, all wrapped in one to create liberation of the mind, to know that there's beauty in all these practices because the Most High said everybody would know about the Most High. And so, regardless of where you go on the planet, there is a practice of spirituality that helps you become your best version of yourself. And to me, I feel that whatever you learn that makes you feel that you can be your best self, that's what you should go with, because everyone is worshiping the Most High. There is only one Most High God, creator of all things. Whether he made sure everybody could know that there was a Most High creator of all things from, front to back of the earth, I feel that there's many practices and beautiful things about all of them. And what mysticism does is you take what means the most to you out of each and every one of those practices and make yourself the best version of yourself. Now, some people feel like they grew up in a place where Buddhism was prominent and that's all they're going to ever learn about. Some people grew up with a more Abrahamic faith and they feel that that's all that they need. And some people grew up in a place where Hinduism was prominent and they feel like that makes them their greatest self. So I just feel like whatever makes you your best self, where you're the best version of yourself you could possibly be, I think that's what you should go with. I think you should go with what gives you peace, what gives you wholeness, what makes you feel the closest to the Most High. And that's it. I don't think it's complicated at all. I think people can overcomplicate it if they want to say, well, I don't feel like learning about that, or I don't feel the need to learn about it. Then don't. Go with what fills your heart with feeling closest to the Most High. That's how I feel.
And I respect that, But I think that when we look at the different formalities of what we would call spiritualities, faith systems, things of that nature, a lot of these faith-based cultures would pull a person in multiple different ways to achieve what one would say is the ability to master all faith, all religions, and to be one with what some would consider as God. I think a lot of the evidence that is out there from the people that have tried these types of I call them spirituality fests, where they take on multiple belief systems at one time, and a lot of these people don't end up well in the end, and I think it's very unhealthy and it's very unsafe because of how customs and practices can be very physical and it can be very mental as well. So I think we got to be careful. I would say be careful when attempting something like that, that you are foundationally within built up to withstand things like that. Me personally, would say stay away from it. Don't do it ever. Don't try that ever. Due to the nature and the ability to dismantle the human psychological process and patterns and behaviors and the mannerisms and the mindset of a person could definitely be moved in a way that is unsafe for that person. Would you agree with that or disagree?
I agree. That's why I said you have to go with your heart. You know, if your heart tells you Buddhism is all I need and it makes me feel so whole that I'm not going to look outside of that, or the Abrahamic faith makes me feel so whole and close to the Most High, why should I mess with that? Or, you know, the Quran makes me feel the closest to the Most High, so that why should I mess with that? I feel that you should stay in that faith. I don't think you should rock your foundation unless you are searching for a deeper spirituality that makes you feel the most whole. I think it depends on what you need as a person. Now, if you feel yourself, as you said, struggling because you were doing that, I think you should probably think about backing off and um, giving your mind some rest, rethinking the process, thinking if this is worth it, if you should go back to your origin of what you were raised on. You know, you really have to be very discerning, especially if you're going to do something like that, because, like you said, it can be very psyche rocking. Um, but when you realize that they're all bringing you to the Most High and it's just different practices that can help you get there, I think you'll find that it'll all give you peace and it'll make you appreciate each and every soul that the Most High created. Um, at least that's what it did for me. It made me a more loving person, a more accepting person of both sexes, of all people. It made me understand why when we get these tests done on our ancestry, how it's like, how come I have every one of them in my ancestry? Well, could be a past life. I don't know. Um, Not saying that that's fact. It just sometimes I wondered about it. Um, and I think you should go with your heart. I really do. I think you should go with, I think you should all, for me, I believe in prayer deeply, deeply. I think you should pray about everything, every major decision you're going to make, even some of the small ones. I believe that you should ask the Most High, and wait for an answer because you will get one. I truly believe that in my heart.
Mm.
If this is it, Most High, should I keep going with this journey? Is this meant for me?
So,
You know, go ahead.
so let me ask you, because I keep hearing the words "Most High," and we're having a conversation. So, when you say "Most High," could you give us a understanding through your explanation of what that means to you? So we'll kind of be on the same page, because my view of what you're saying the Most High is could be different. So better for the conversation to know where we stand. Not saying I don't know you. Of course I know you, but
Sure. No,
just
I
for the
think
sake of
that's
the
a great
conversation.
question, and for
Okay?
others, because not everybody knows me who's listening, right? So
Right,
that's
right.
great.
Exactly.
I believe that there is one Most High God, creator of all things, and that wherever you are on the earth, he's going to show himself to you. Now, your customs and your cultures may show it different, may show you the Most High differently and in a different way. But when it's in an upright way that creates more love and more peace, and more unity amongst people, I think that that's when you're talking about the Most High God, creator of all things, because he created all of his children and he loves us all. And that's why we must, in my opinion, do our best to be the best people we can be to each other and ourselves, because we're his children. He would be heartbroken if we treated ourselves bad, if we didn't take care of our bodies and our minds and make the best decisions for ourselves. So I think the Most High God, creator of all things, just made a way to reach all people. Whether he did that through planting a seed in all of these people that made these different belief systems, which is what I believe, so that people could be better versions of themselves. Because we can say there's a good and bad in every faith: the Abrahamic faith, the faith of Islam, the faith of. I don't hear too many bad things about Hinduism, because they don't believe in judging people for anything. Buddhists want peace for everyone. I would just say that whatever of those teachings makes you feel like you are following from the laws of Ma'at that were broken down to the laws in the Abrahamic faith, as long as it gives you those principles in life to not covet, other people's blessings, whether it's their home or their wife or their career or whatever, as long as it makes you the best version of yourself you can be, I think that you should go with what makes your heart feel closest to the Most High. When you pray, you feel close to the Most High.
I understand where you're coming from, and yeah, a lot of people take that road. I think that what you just displayed in speech is a viewpoint of a lot of the world, and a lot of people take that route because, and I gotta be firm on it. It's not a whole lot of foundation there. It gives them the ability to try this and say, "Oh, that don't work. Oh, let me go try this." It gives them the ability to say, "Oh, that don't work. Let me go try this." The doors, it's almost like saying the doors of the church is open, and things of that nature. I guess what I'm saying is, again, it's still very dangerous, and it's really not practical in the sense of how we as people mentally work. I think too much of anything is unhealthy, and too much of that type of thinking in the sense of structural for your life to be in a position of understanding what is your center focal point. Well, if that is on 12 different elements when there's supposed to be one element, then, and I know you're not saying a person should go through all of these different phases. You're saying that through these different portals of belief, I call it, you have access to the Father, if I understood you correct.
Well, yeah, because they all teach pretty much the same things, just in different ways, through different aspects, through different the story may be changed a little bit, but most of them are teaching all the same lessons to understand our Creator and how he wants us to behave and treat each other, And so for me, like say somebody was struggling with an issue. It could be anything. It could be addiction. It could be, and I'm talking about food addiction. I'm talking about drugs. I'm talking about sex. I'm talking about anything that you could be struggling with. Say it was a job and you didn't understand like your purpose anymore. And so you wanted to, have you ever seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
Oh, I can't say that I have.
It's a movie where Julia Roberts is in it. And she has this job. She has this career where she's like top of the line in her career. And suddenly she loses her job. And right after she loses her job, her husband leaves her a letter saying he wants a divorce and he leaves.
Mm.
And so she decides to take a trek across the entire planet, visiting all the countries that she wants to visit, learning under every major faith that there is. And how she does it is very humbly. Like when she went to the Buddhist, she decided to scrub their floors. You know, she didn't want to go in there being like, hey, I'm this and I want to start at the top and blah, blah, blah. She said when she went everywhere, she was like, I want to start at the bottom and I want to learn how to become the best version of myself through each faith. And it was called Eat, Pray, Love, because she ate the wonderful food around the world. She prayed with all the priests, preachers, monks around the world, and love is the last. She found that the epitome of what she learned from everybody was to love. That the Most High was teaching us to love our brothers and our sisters and our universal family. And then when she came back, she was completely fulfilled and happy. And here she was. She lost her job. She lost her husband. You know, her world was crashing down. But it humbled her so much because that career that she was so focused on for so many years kind of took her away from the Most High, right? So she decided to start over with the chance she's getting now that she lost her job to humble herself and start at the bottom of every spiritual practice and have the leaders of those practices, you know, teach her how to become the best version of herself. It was similar to really what Yeshua did. And when she came back, she said, I don't even need this big, huge house. I am so blessed beyond belief that how could I have ever complained? The Most High's been taking care of me all this time, and I'm so spoiled. And now I just want to be the best and kindest person I can ever be, because it's a miracle that I'm even getting this opportunity to be on earth, much less complaining that I lost my job and my husband. And it completely humbled her. And that's why it's called Eat, Pray, Love, because that's what she did that entire year she traveled. And when she came back, she was the most whole she had ever felt. And it really affected me. When I saw that movie, it really affected me in my 20s. And I was like, man, I wish I could do that. And I could say at this point in my life, I may not have gotten to try the food all around the world, but I definitely have done a lot of the rest of the stuff. And what I came away with is feeling like I'm the most humbled version of myself I've ever been. And that all I do want to do is love thy neighbor and treat people to the best of my ability and appreciate the fact that I wake up every day and that I have a roof over my head and that I have food to eat, and just the simplest things in life that we take for granted every day that are not granted to everyone. You know, there's somebody cold right now and hungry, and we're not, hopefully. I don't think any of us are. And it's just, you know, every breath, every moment is such a gift. And I think sometimes we take those things for granted. So for me, it has been a very, very humbling experience to learn so much about all these different cultures and people, and how we all really just want the same thing. And it makes me feel that the Most High God, creator of all things, is wonderful and amazing. And it makes me really upset when people say, well, where's your God? Because I don't see him down here doing anything for anybody. But I believe that the Most High sends us on, he uses us to do his works. I believe that we are God in motion in our meat suits as spirits. I believe that we are God in motion. We are his children in motion doing his good works. And when we're not, we really need to question ourselves, because that's our purpose, in my opinion.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's up to the person. I think you have to do what works for you and what makes you feel the most whole. And that's it. What makes you feel the closest to our Father. And I think all the spiritual practices are beautiful. Is there dark and light to all of them? Sure. People use the Bible to abuse people all the time. We know that. So there's dark in what we grew up in too. But we don't have to use it in that way. That's a personal choice. And I don't think when we're using it in a negative way that that's what our Father meant it for.
Yo, peace.
Peace, fire.
What up? My bad.
Were you listening?
Yeah, I would listen. Yeah, I was trying
What,
to put something together though.
what do you think about that? What we were just discussing. Any weigh-ins?
Let me go back and review some. I was over here sending out emails and all type of shit.
Oh, go ahead.
That's all right. Hold on. That was a good run, though, Pitbull. For real, for real. That was a good clip for you as well.
I really think Kaleem's background is super cool on screen.
Right.
Is that something you pay for, or is that something in the app?
No, I think he did that himself.
That's cool.
My bad, y'all. Let's step out for a second.
Kaleem, I just said the way that your when you cam up, the way that your background and everything looks is so professional looking. Is that something in the app, or did you have to buy something for that, or what? Is that a background?
Nah, it's on the app. It's on the stream, y'all.
It
Just
is?
go into your settings. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna play around with that one day.
Mm-hmm.
That looks so professional.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it professional over here and get some good conversations going for real, you know.
Yeah,
It was definitely a good conversation we were just having just now.
for real.
For real, for real.
I love how open-minded and respectful everybody can be of each other's positions, because it really is all love. Like I said, I feel like whatever makes you feel the most whole, I'm happy for you.
Right. I feel you on that. I mean, you know, nobody's here to tear anybody down for what they believe and stand on. We only here to have a conversation and at times maybe challenge just a little bit. I don't think it's wrong to do that. I think we could conversate
I
on
like
that.
that. I like that because
Yeah,
it makes us think, right?
right, absolutely. So, you know, I think that's mainly what it's about. Uh in, in in all surrealness. So, you know, it's all good. You know, we're gonna keep the running fire jumping and keep these conversations coming, and we're gonna keep bringing out the information and challenging and building more than anything. We
Right.
want to have a great build. You know what I'm saying? And then when it gets to the point where somebody want to step out there, yeah, we'll take it there. But for the most part, yeah, it's okay to agree to disagree and still be able to have a conversation. We need
Absolutely.
more spaces like this. This is why we're trying to create that type of environment here at the Ring of Fire. That you can come, you know, just know, you know, you might get challenged a little bit. Just know that the people over here are studied, you know. So these are the things that uh you just gotta know. But outside of that, you can come however you come.
But personally, what I've seen is the challenging is always just to create more understanding amongst each other and also for the audience. But, you know, to just create understanding, not like trying to challenge somebody just because you want to, but challenging to have a better understanding of each other.
Right. I agree. 100%. For sure. That's what it's about. Mm-hmm.
And you never know, there's some people that may be just starting off their journeys.
I'm starting to get right, man.
I was peeping everything. I ain't gonna cap. I seen it. He was messing with that thing. For sure. It's coming together. It look real good. The production look A1. I got it on this 32 inch, whatever this is.
Oh,
It's
do
real
you?
good. It look real good.
Cool.
I got a pretty nice size monitor. And yeah, the production looks great. Absolutely. Got a team over there somewhere. You got a team over there behind them cameras. But yeah, definitely a great conversation.
I enjoyed it too. I'm not gonna lie. I have not done a whole lot of studying on the Gnostic thing, so I tried to stay out of that a little bit. I just know bits here and there, but not enough. I feel that I could have an educated conversation. I would have to listen more than give details. So
I can understand that. I definitely can understand that.
yeah, I just have a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there. It's not enough I could give a conversation about. So I just kind of stayed out of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Although I know a lot of people do subscribe to Gnosticism. So there must be something positive people get out of it, but I just don't know.
I'm gonna pop back through, bro.
Okay.
Yo. Sheesh. Man, boy, call one call after another.
Nah, I said I'm gonna pop back out.